Welcome into the High Noon Report. I'm Pugs Moran for Tuesday, June the 27th, year of our Lord 2023. What do we do here on the High Noon Report? Well, we gather in the chat room. Come on, everybody, get in the chat room. Hi, Byron. Hi, Taronda. Hi, Mike. I hate this number thing. I've got a number thing that shows me how many people are listening, and it says 0 right now. And I've got Byron, I've got Taronda, I've got Michael, there we go. Now it's starting to climb. Thank you. There we go. Come on, everybody. Climb in the chat room. Chat room is a big part of this experience. We do it every day, Monday through Friday, noon till whenever the headlines cease. We do hot topics, current events, trends, breaking news, whatever it is that's happening in the world and that people are buzzing about. I try and give it to you. Now, I don't give it to you in the way you're probably expecting it. You've been conditioned over the past couple of decades to expect everything to have a political bent to it. No, not this. This has my bent to it. There is no political partisanship. We don't get involved in red and blue issues. We don't like to. I say that we don't like to get into the culture wars, but I kind of do. I don't know. Culture wars are like a bad thing, but I don't know. If there's a way to try and get into culture wars without following along stupid partisan political lines, then I'm your guy. I'm going to try and do it for you. Like I say, we do this show every Monday through Friday on the Radio Misfits Network, radiomisfits.com. Radio Misfits, all you need for all of your original content, for podcasts, whatever lifestyle you're into, whatever sort of things you want to know about, learn about, listen to. RadioMisfits.com has it all. Check it out. We stream a second Radio Misfits show. That is the nighttime show that comes on at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We call that the Radio Misfits Show. And it's myself, Pugs Moran, James Parker, and E. And that's really just three guys sitting around chopping up the day's world, right? The day's news, the day's events, whatever it is that's happened to us. Join us. It's a little bit looser, a little bit more conversational, whereas this show is designed to be infotainment. I'm trying to give you all the things that are trending, all the things that people are talking about, all that good stuff. A word about how this show exists. We do this every day. This show runs exclusively on your kindnesses, your gratuities, and your tips. So if you feel so compelled at some point during today's process to drop a little something in the Venmo, drop a little something in the Cash App, thank you so much. We would greatly appreciate that, especially this time of the month. This time of the month, you know, not in a good headspace today. Not in a good headspace. Got myself in a really bad headspace about 45 minutes before the show went on. So I'm going to push through, but we're going to make it because we do this every day. All right. I've said everything we need to say. I've mentioned this show. I've mentioned the nighttime show. Now let's get started. What do you say? We are going to run through all the things that are happening in this world. How do we do it? We do it in a couple of stages, right? I told you we're going to give you like a list of the trending topics and the headlines and the hot topics and the current events and the breaking news. We're going to give you that. But before we get into that, we like to go back in time. We look at the events of this day throughout history. We talk about them. We look for patterns. We look for rhythms. We look for anything that might predict what might come to us in the next couple of hours. Excuse me. We call that segment Erstwhile on this day. And then we go into birthdays. We talk about people who were born on this day. We celebrate their lives or we criticize their very beings. It all depends. It all depends on the individual. It's different every day. Then we go into the mornings. We pass the people who have died. We pass the people who have died. That's weird. No, we go through a list of people who have passed on this day. And we decide whether or not we care or not, because two things we hold as absolute truths on this show. That is that there are a lot of assholes out there, whole bunch of them. Look out your window. You'll see one, I promise you. And the second truth that we hold near and dear to our hearts around these parts, everybody dies, right? So there are a lot of assholes out there. Everybody dies. Sometimes assholes die. We determine whether or not we care about these people who have passed on. So without further ado, let's get started on today's show, brought to you by our friends at Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road in Farmers Branch. Sacred Oils, all your CBDs, your deltas. Gonna have some fun over the long 4th of July weekend. I probably want to stock up on some edibles, some flour. They got the deltas. They got all the stuff that you need. It's pretty much your one-stop shop. That is at 13740 Midway Road in Farmers Branch. Tell them Pugs 20 and you'll get 20% off. That's right, 20% off whatever you want. Again, your deltas, your edibles, your gummies, your tinctures, your smokables, whatever it is, Pugs 20, 20% off. Let's get started. It is high noon for the Did I do it again? It is high. Oh, geez, how did I do that again? Why am I putting the wrong damn day? It is high noon for June the 27th. June the 27th is the 178th day of the year. 187 days left until the end of the year. On this day in 1490, oh, this is the segment that we like to call erstwhile on this day. Previously on June the 27th, these are events that have occurred throughout time on this day. We'll look for patterns. On this day in 1499, Amerigo Vespucci cites what is now the state of Brazil. Why do I mention Amerigo Vespucci? He's where America comes from. That's we call ourselves the United States of America. America is derived from Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci was the cartographer, explorer, the guy who came over here and went, hey, there's a big giant piece of land over there. And they called it Amerigo, and it became America. Anyway, that was on this day in 1499. Congratulations. Thank you for finding us, Amerigo. On this day in 1844, Joseph Smith, the founder of the Latter-day Saint movement, and his brother Hiram Smith are killed by a mob at the Carthage, Illinois jail. The Mormon, like the original Mormon people, they were like from Illinois and Missouri, and then the Illinois and Missouri people, they didn't like them, and so this happened in 1844. Joe Smith was killed while being held in the Carthage jail in Illinois. That's why they went west. They were freeing religious oppression. On this day in 1950, the United States decides to send troops to fight in the Korean War. All right. I don't know much about the Korean War. Everything I know about the Korean War comes from the show MASH. On this day in 1974, U.S. President Richard Nixon visits the Soviet Union. Gotta be honest, I didn't know about this. I don't think I knew that. I think yesterday, if someone had said, for $1 million, did Richard Nixon go to the Soviet Union? I'd have said no. I'd have said, because I know we went to China. That's how we got the panda bears, right? And Nixon goes over to China. He comes back with 2 panda bears. I didn't know about Russia, but yeah, or Soviet Union, excuse me. So it was on this day in 1974, President Nixon visits the Soviet Union. On this day in 2007, Tony Blair resigns as British Prime Minister, a position that he had held since 1997. Gordon Brown succeeds him. Why did Tony Blair resign? What did he do? I know the other guy, I remember one dude resigned because Brexit went through, and he was like, if Brexit goes through, I'm resigning, because he never thought it would go through, and it went through, and so he had to resign. I mean, he didn't have to. If he was an American politician, especially of a certain persuasion, he would have said that and then not resign. But Tony Blair fell on his sword, because that's what idiot liberals do. This is my problem with liberals. They fall on their sword. They think that they find glory in doing the perceived right. Oh, it would only be right for you to take full responsibility and say the buck stops with you and fall on your sword. Al Franken, that idiot. Al Franken's a moron. That moron should never have stepped down. He stepped down because that's why I will never. Oh my God. Who's that New York senator that I hate? Kristen something. Gillibrand. Oh my God. Oh my God. Al Franken steps down because he made a picture 20 years ago. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Nobody should step down over that. But that's the liberal way. These morons want they're more interested in being perceived as being righteous and correct, that I shall come to my own ends because of my principle. It's so stupid. And they don't mean, if they meant it, it would be one thing, but they don't mean it. At least Tony Blair, he said he was going to resign if Brexit went through. Brexit went through, and he resigned. And I don't know that would be the same case in 2023. The world has shifted. The way that we people say things all the time now and then don't follow through. On this day in 2007, that happened. All right, let's move on to birthdays. Born on this day, Buana, Buana, Buana. These are people born today. Don't fall on your sword, is what I'm saying. There is nothing to be gained by falling on your sword. It seems right. I did the right thing. I fell on my sword. I took full responsibility. No, not if you're in politics. You don't got to do that no more. That's not a thing. No, you know why? Because people for 48 hours are going to be like, he's a bad person. And then in hour 72, they're going to be like, wait, what? Why didn't we like him again? I kind of like him again. That's all. People, we, it's us. We the people. We forget, so we move on. Let's do some birthdays. Born on this day in 1880, Helen Keller, American author, academic, and activist. So Helen Keller, she was blind, she was deaf, she was a mute. I don't know if she was good at pinball. I understand those are some skills that lend themselves to being good at pinball. I really don't know much about Helen Keller, other than, my God, she went through some things. Although, did she really go through some things? Like, we all, as people who can speak, see, hear, could she smell? Like, could she smell real good? Hey, that's a question. Could Helen Keller smell? Like, because we only talk about the see, because we can all see, and we can imagine what it would be like to not see. That would suck. We can all hear, so we can imagine what it would be like to not, and we can all speak. But could she smell? I don't know. And here's the other thing about Helen Keller: we all project what the loss of a sense that we've always had must be like onto her. So we're like, oh, it must be so terrible for Helen Keller not to be able to see. She's never been able to see. That's not a loss for her. That has been her reality since the moment she was born. She doesn't have anything to compare it to. She has no idea what seeing is like. So she doesn't really have this sense of loss that we tend to project on people that we see with these sort of disabilities. I'll give you an example of that. Okay, so in my life, personally, so my father died when I was very young. And whenever that subject comes up with people, whenever it's revealed that my father died when I was very young, people get crushed. They look at me like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. For my entire life, I've been like, you don't have to be sorry. I never knew anything different. My life is my mother. My mother is the constant. That should anything happen to her, then feel free to offer your condolences. But I did not lose a father because I never had the awareness of it. So I wonder if it's the same for like Helen Keller. We projected it must have been so horrible for her, but it's all she knew. So it was her constant. It was her reality. Anyway, born a pretty amazing person. I mean, she did stuff. Really, all Helen Keller would have had. Although, I'm trying to think. She did stuff. Like, what did she do? I don't know. She was an inspiration. She was an aspirational. She was inspirational. That's for sure. Okay, let's move on. Helen Keller, what a dame. That's what we'll say. I really don't know enough. I saw The Miracle Worker when I was like 10. I don't remember much about it, other than I thought Patty Duke Aston was cute. Born on this day in 1913. Happy birthday, Willie Mosconi. You guys know who Willie Mosconi is? Willie Mosconi was the best pool player in the world, but he wasn't nearly as interesting as Minnesota Fats. So nobody knows who Willie Mosconi is. They all know who Minnesota Fats is, even though every time Minnesota Fats played Willie Mosconi basically waxed the pool table with him. Born on this day in 1913. Pool great, Willie Mosconi. Born on this day in 1927, Bob Keeshan, American actor and producer, better known as Captain Kangaroo. I didn't watch Captain Kangaroo. I know, because that's right in my wheelhouse. Being a kid of the 70s, you would think, oh, Captain Kangaroo. I didn't watch Captain Kangaroo. In Chicago, where I was from, Captain Kangaroo aired opposite the local dude, a guy by the name of Ray Rayner, and that was my dude. My dude was Ray Rayner. He used to talk about the White Sox, and he wore silly outfits, and he told me what the weather was, and he had the school closings. Like, he had the paper, and he would read the school closings. Captain Kangaroo wasn't doing that for me. So, although I acknowledge Bob Keeshan, and it's his birthday, and happy birthday to you, he made a lot of people happy, I'm not as familiar with Captain Kangaroo as I think most people might be, because I grew up in a place that was offering me an alternative children's show at the very same time. Born on this day in 1927, Captain Kangaroo. Born on this day in 1929, Dick the Bruiser. He was like one of the first wrestling superstars. Dick the Bruiser. He was also a football player, too. He played in the NFL, and then he transitioned to wrestling, where he became even more famous in wrestling as Dick the Bruiser. Born on this day in 1929. Born on this day in 1930. How about Ross Perot? Ross Perot, remember that little guy? I remember that guy. I became friends with his grandson for like a period of time. He was like in my little running group. And I'm like, oh, it's Ross Perot's grandson. And like, he's a billionaire. I'm like, he's a nice guy. No, I mean, I liked him. But we didn't really talk about his grandpa, so I don't have many stories about Ross Perot. Other than he tried to run for president. He had a lot of charts. And next to Sarah Palin, he offered up probably the worst possible presidential candidate ever anywhere. Do you remember Admiral Stockdale? He was like, he was like, you want to talk about Biden? Holy shit. Admiral Stockdale didn't know where he was half the time. And a lot of people say that about Biden. All right, moving on. Born on this day in 1930, Ross Perot. Born on this day in 1958. Here's a favorite of mine. Here's a girl I've had a crush on for a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Germano. Lisa Germano is an American singer, a songwriter. It says here American singer, songwriter, guitarist. I mean, she's a multi-instrumentalist. She plays everything. But Lisa Germano is a fiddle player. Lisa Germano plays violin. Violin is a sexy instrument. I know way too many sexy violin players, like girls who play violins in bands. Not like Dave Matthews. Doesn't Dave Matthews just have like a big defensive end looking guy playing? But some bands, they have girls that play violins, and it's kind of sexy. Lisa Germano was John Mellencamp's violin player. So, like on that song, check it out. Check it out. Like that. She was a big player in a lot of Mellencamp concerts. And I've seen a lot of Mellencamp concerts, and I can tell you, crazy crush on Lisa Germano. So cute. She was so cute. What's Lisa Germano looking like now? Let's venture into this, since I haven't really thought about her in a while, and I'm reminded since it's her birthday. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. I guess this is going to be her like back in the 90s when I first had my crush on her. The violin is a sexy instrument. Look at her. She's got this whole hippie thing going on. All right. Never really saw her that close up. Never had good seats. She's older. She's like 50. She's in her mid-60s. All right. That's fine. All right. There she is. How about some pictures of her on stage? Because that's when, she was. That's cute there. Right? Yeah. I don't know. It's just something about the violin. I think the violin is a sexy instrument. You know who I'm crazy for? So she's playing guitar there. There she is with the violin. There she is on the piano. Anyway, she's an immensely talented young lady. She's like 15 years older than me or whatever. Anyway, happy birthday to Lisa Germano. I'm a fan. Born on this day in 1958. Born on this day in 1966, J.J. Abrams. I don't know if I'm a J.J. Abrams fan. You know why? I never watched Lost. And yeah, I know. I never got into Lost. I'm saving Lost for recovery from broken leg or something. It's at some point when I'm going to be like stuck somewhere for a long period of time. I've got a couple of shows that I know I should watch and that I might like that I'm keeping, in check for those moments. Lost is one of them. Let's see. What has he done? Should we do a J.J. Abrams draft? I mean, I know I like him. I know he's done. Doesn't he do? Isn't Bad Robot his production company? I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, Bad Robot. He has Bad Robot Productions. Okay. So is there a filmography? All right. So filmography. J.J. Abrams wrote regarding Henry. You remember that Harrison Ford movie? He had like traumatic brain injury. What else did he do? Armageddon. He wrote Armageddon. Okay, that's fun. Mission Impossible 3. Never saw any of them. Directed Star Trek. Super 8. 2011 Super 8. He directed. He wrote it. And he's the producer. Super 8's a very good movie. Very good movie that I don't know a lot of people have seen. Where's this TV? Television work. Okay, what's he done on television? He did Lost. I guess he did Alias. All right, whatever. J.J. Abrams, fine. I just never saw Lost, so I guess I don't have the full. I like Bad Robot. I think Bad Robot is a cool-ass production house. They do good stuff. Born on this day in 1966, J.J. Abrams. Born on this day in 1975, Tobey Maguire, American actor. Is Tobey Maguire supposed to be the a-hole? I think he is, right? Isn't Tobey Maguire supposed to be the a-hole? Have you ever seen the movie Molly's Game with Jessica Chastain? And I suggest you see everything Jessica Chastain has ever done because she's good. Molly's Game is a super good movie. Molly's Game is a true story about I don't know, Molly something. I don't know. she was an Olympic skier. She was like on Team America, and she got injured, and she ended up taking a different career path. And this career path led her to running like underground poker games. New York, LA, whatever, the big shooter, fancy underground poker games she became involved in. And in the movie Molly's Game, there is a character who's an actor who's supposed to be a complete D-bag. And he's portrayed as like this young actor who thinks his shit doesn't stink, and he's addicted to poker. I think that's Tobey Maguire. Hold on. Yay, where's Byron? Byron should know this stuff. Byron's a big gambling guy. He's probably seen Molly's Game. Wondering if he knows if that's supposed to be Tobey Maguire. Personal lot. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Maguire has been a vegetarian since 92. Blech, that doesn't speak well of his character. He's made changes in his diet to either gain or lose weight for films. In 2004, Maguire took up tournament poker. He has finished in the money in several events and has been tutored by poker professionals Danielle Negreanu. Maguire was seen on ESPN's coverage of the 2005, 2006, and 2007 World Series of Poker Main Event Championship. He was one of many celebrities, along with Leonardo DiCaprio and Ben Affleck, who participated in Molly Bloom's high-stake poker games at the Viper Room. There you go. That's who I'm thinking of, Molly's Game. So it was Tobey Maguire who was the asshole. They just couldn't call him Tobey Maguire for whatever reason. Anyway, there you have it. You want to see what people really think of Tobey Maguire? See Molly's Game, and that's how he acts among the people that, Interesting. Happy birthday, Tobey Maguire. I don't like that he's an a-hole, because his character is always sort of like, okay, but I'm a little bit awkward, but I can do it, and everybody believes in me because I seem nice. Apparently he's not that. Apparently he's a good actor. Apparently he's a D-bag. Born on this day in 75, Tobey Maguire. Born on this day in 1990, Bobby Wagner. Football. Cowboy Bobby Wagner. Right. And he picked Cowboys, got him last. Is he still a Cowboy, or was that a one-year thing? What is he? Is he a free agent? Let's see here. Oh, Seattle Seahawks. Oh, wait, is he not a Cowboy? I thought Bobby Wagner was a Cowboy. Were they trying to get him? What happened? Let me see. I thought, what happened? 17 seasons. Hold on. Rams. Oh, no, it was Rams. That's it. He went to the Rams. All right. Why did I think he was going? Yeah, that's right. He wouldn't. Never mind. I apologize. I had a brain fart there. Bobby Wagner. He says he's on the Seahawks again. Born on this day in 1990. Born on this day in 1997. Her, American singer and songwriter. H.E.R. Let's see. I'm going to need a little bit more information on her. Gabriela Sarmiento Wilson, known professionally as Her, pronounced Her, also an acronym for Having Everything Revealed. All right, there you go. Look at that. We've learned something. That's fun. That's what this is about. Her is an acronym for Having Everything Revealed. All right, folks, let's move in now to these are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. Do we care? Not really. We'll see. We'll measure them. Not a whole lot of choices here, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to preemptively on the first one say that, yes, we care that on this day in 2001, American treasure Jack Lemmon died. Jack Lemmon was great. Jack Lemmon, when I was little in the 70s, it seemed like every old movie that I watched had Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in it. And they were just in everything together. Jack Lemmon, I talked about the Front Page movie. I love the Front Page. Billy Wilder's last big hit with young Susan Sarandon, Walter Matthau, and a Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon also has a really cool gravestone. Man, we were in LA once, and Richard Hunter, who used to do a show on Live 105.3 with us, Big Dick Hunter, he's an interesting guy. And if you ever have an opportunity to just sort of ride his coattails for a day just to see what kind of stuff he gets into, I suggest you do it, because he gets into some really weird shit. we were in LA, and it was either, hang out in the hotel and bum around, or, go with Big Dick Hunter on a tour of celebrity grave sites. And we did. We chose that. We decided to get in a rental car and go drive around with him and let us take us to the famous cemeteries there in Hollywood where all the people are buried. Jack Lemmon has a gravestone that just says Jack Lemmon in, and then the ground, which I think is really funny. It's a really funny gravestone. I took a picture of it. So yeah, Jack Lemmon. We like Jack Lemmon. We care that he died. He was a good dude. Dead on this day in 2001, Jack Lemmon. We care. Dead on this day in 2018, Joe Jackson, American manager, father of Michael and Janet Jackson and a whole bunch of other Jacksons. Do we care? He gave us Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. Okay, that's not terrible. That's good. So, his loins produced something that created joy for a whole lot of people. So that's a positive. Was Michael a pedophile? I don't know. Separate the art from the artist. That's always the complicated thing. He's also believed to have been a bit of a slave driver, an abusive father, and not an altogether good guy. So I'm gonna have to come down on. We don't care, Joe Jackson. We don't care. That's we don't need that. All right, there you have it. That's going to be all of the erstwhile on this day. That's going to be the birthdays and the passings. It's time now on this show where we want to move into the hot topics, current events, trends, and all the things that are happening in the world. Keeping better time today. I'm looking at the time, and we're doing a little bit better. Byron, Jack Lemmon in. It's brilliant. I'm telling you, it's like my favorite gravestone. Just in its perfect Jack Lemmon humor. Jack Lemmon in. Byron says Michael Cera. Is Michael Cera who played Tobey Maguire as the asshole? Is that it? Molly's Game. I got to watch that movie again. That's a real enjoyable movie. Not the least of which because also Kendall from Succession is like really good in Molly's Game. She plays like his boss, like a sleazy poker room runner. I don't know what his deal is anyway. All right. Let's get into all the things that are trending. As we talked about yesterday, the top of these shows this week are probably all going to concern Supreme Court decisions. Supreme Court is working overtime because, Elena Kagan has got to, she's in the jet skiing world tour competition. She's got to be in the Bahamas by, I guess, the 1st of July. So they're going to rip through all of this stuff. A lot of decisions coming down. The most recent one, the big one that's making news today is the North Carolina decision. This is the second now in 2 days where the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled against Republican legislatures and their versions of electoral and congressional maps. They did it yesterday in Louisiana, and they did it again today in North Carolina. North Carolina made some maps that were kind of wacky, and the state judges in North Carolina said, nah, these are wacky. These are not fair, and we're going to say they're illegal. And North Carolina people said, oh, yeah, we're going to go over your head to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court today said, no, sorry, North Carolina, your state courts are right. Your state courts have the right to do this, so we're not going to deal with it. What the state court says is the law of the land. South Carolina says state judges have electoral review power. North Carolina argued that they did not. And tending to think it's the Supreme Court. Supreme Court of the United States said they have a role. State courts and state constitutions are a check on partisan state legislatures. So that's the ruling of the Supreme Court. That if your current state legislature makes an electoral map that is total bullshit, the state courts, according to the Supreme Court of the United States, the state courts have the right to say, nah, that's a bullshit map. You got to do that again. So there, that's a big decision. It's a really big decision because now there is precedent at the Supreme Court level. So state courts cannot, be overrun again because there is precedent at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ruled state courts do, in fact, have the right to challenge current legislature's view of electoral maps. I don't know why they're not just static. And I also don't know why we just don't take a grid, place it over the United States, you know what I mean? Like a grid, like with little boxes, and have every freaking congressional district or whatever, just be a little box, just whatever. So what? So maybe, well, would that mean more? What would that mean? More congressmen? I don't know. I'm not real smart on these things, so we're going to move on. I'm just here to tell you what the Supreme Court did today. All right, here's the next story. The next big story was broken by CNN last night. Trump audio. There's the next story. We're going to listen to the audio. We're going to talk a little bit about it. CNN has obtained audio tape of Trump with two people who are writing a story on him, two staffers, and the third who is believed to be a donor. We don't know. We don't have the exact names, whatever. But this is all in relation to the special counsel's investigation into the documents at Mar-a-Lago, not to be confused with the New York State indictment, which has to do with the Stormy Daniels situation, or what is believed to be the coming indictment in the state of Georgia over election tampering, or the larger special counsel investigation into the president's role of January 6th. Okay. So this is more about the documents. Forget all that other stuff. So this is just about him having documents. Here's the audio. We'll play it and then, whatever. This is him. Here's what this is. Okay. How are we going to play this? All right. I guess we're just going to do the audio on it. All right. So this is the audio as it came from the CNN. Here we go. Let's listen to it. Okay, it's not playing.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
It started right at the beginning.
Like when Millie's talking.
Okay, that's a staffer. That was the coup against you. So we do get a little bit of insight into the kind of enablers that he's surrounded himself with. People that are not giving him good legal advice, people who are not giving him good advice, just people who are thrilled to be allowed in his orbit. So they're kissing ass and they're saying shit.
About, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this.
Now, here he is. He is showing people gathered in his office at Bedminster in New Jersey. This is why they also seized documents from New Jersey. So the implication, and that's an important word, the implication, not the evidence. The evidence is not obvious. We don't know what he's showing them, right? The implication is that this is how careless he is with national secrets. He is standing around people, telling them shit, and prefacing his information with, now this is confidential. Like he's telling them that that's what a salesman does. A salesman makes the people around him think they're getting something special. I'm going to give you a special deal here. No, don't go telling my manager this. This is confidential, right? He's trying to impress them. I don't even know that he's trying to impress them. I think his default setting is impress everybody. So I don't know if there's trying involved there other than maybe it just happens. But let's listen. So we don't know what these documents are. The implication is that they're these secret, confidential, top secret. We don't know. He could be holding up magazine articles. We have to keep that in our mind, front and center. This is not, people are saying this is a complete smoking gun. This dude is slippery as fuck, man. This is not a smoking gun. This is a bad look. But unless we got a camera and we can see what he's holding up, we don't know.
This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Pages long. Look.
So his complaint is this, that one of the things that was said about him was, him being Trump, was by generals and whatnot after the fact, after he left office. One of the things that he's upset about is that they said that Trump, wanted to invade Iran. Trump in this meeting, what he's trying to get across is that it wasn't me who wanted to invade Iran. It was Miley. It was the generals. And here, look, I have this proof right here. Again, we don't know what that proof is. We just know that he is presenting something to these folks. He's presenting it as truth, as fact, as proof that Miley. So, but again, we don't know if it's a magazine article. We don't know what it is. We don't know that these are classified documents. And also, I've seen the pushback where people are saying the narrative from MAGA world that's going out is there were no documents seized from Westminster about Iran. That's the narrative that's going out, and that's what you're sharing if you're on the MAGA side, and that is something, that's information that you think that sounds good, that's a good defense. You're sharing that none of the documents seized from Bedminster have anything to do with this. You're sharing that information. You've heard it somewhere. Somebody you trust told you that, and now you believe, and you are putting out that none of the documents seized at Bedminster had anything to do with a Miley plan to attack Iran. That's bullshit. Nobody knows what documents were taken. Anybody who is telling you, anybody who's trying to put out there, well, it's obviously a magazine article because even the Justice Department has admitted that they didn't. No, they didn't. The Justice Department hasn't. This is all discovery. This hasn't been made public yet. This tape is a leak. This tape was leaked. Now, the other thing that people are saying is that possibly Trump leaked the tape. That, that's another odd spin that I don't get. They're like, well, Trump leaked this to prove that he didn't do anything wrong. No, that's not strategic at all. That's not good at all, because across the board, just about everybody who's been asked, even the right, his former attorneys. There was a former attorney of his on the BBC last night on the morning show talking about how this is really not good and difficult for his attorneys and how they get. So, beware the narratives. Just keep an open mind. Realize that you don't know what he's holding. Yeah, it sounds bad, but this is not necessarily the smoking gun that the left is telling you, but it's also not nothing that the right is telling you. There is something here. What? We don't know.
Wait a minute, let's see here.
I'm going through papers.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case,
Mm-hmm.
Except it is like highly
Or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't win your case because it is problematic.
confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, highly confidential.
All right.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing?
He just found it on his desk. Isn't that amazing how just scattered among the papers on my desk, I just found this.
This totally wins my case,
Wins my case.
Except it is like highly confidential.
Okay, so it is highly confidential. So that means it's not a newspaper he's holding up. He can't be holding up a newspaper or a magazine and calling what he just showed these people highly confidential unless they're idiots. And he might just think they're idiots because they agree with everything he says. Because again, these are not people operating in good faith. These are people who think it's fucking awesome to be this close to Trump in his orbit. That's how he lives. That's how a lot of these people with immense power and influence live. Their entire life is surrounded by people who are just like, you're the best, so. But here he says it. He says it. Now, these are confidential. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't this funny? Don't tell anybody. I mean, that's real. This exchange right here is really problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Except it is like highly confidential, secret.
Especially if his lawyers are going to get up in court and go, well, we don't know what they were showing him. We don't know what he was showing the people in the room, but we're maintaining it was just newspapers. So, and you can't prove it wasn't because you don't know. We don't have video. You don't know that those papers aren't newspapers. Well, except that right here, he says they're highly confidential.
This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time.
There you go. There's the enabler. Hey, he likes to talk about Hillary. Let's just throw Hillary out. Oh, get over yourselves, people.
she'd send it to Anthony Weiner, the pervert. By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying, because we were talking about it. And, he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers.
These are the papers. He said, isn't that incredible? He said he wanted to attack Iran. Here, these are the papers. the same papers that he was holding when he said it's highly confidential. These are a secret.
This was done by the military, given to me.
This was done by the military, given to me. So he's not talking about a newspaper. He's talking about.
I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
Declassify
figure out
it. See, as president, I could.
All right. So she said something like, "We're in trouble now." Hold on.
Try to
Declassify
figure out
it. See, as president, I could. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to.
This was done by the military, given to me.
This was done by the military, given to me. He's got the papers. And I think at this point, one of his staffers, that enabler lady, is starting to get a little uncomfortable. And that's where you see him kind of change his tone to worrying about, can he declassify these? And he says, well, I can't because I'm not president anymore. I could have, but that's okay. Horse is out of the barn. He's already shown these people. Like I said, this is going to be hard to explain in court. And from everything that I've heard, this Jack Smith dude is a badass.
I think we can probably, right?
I think we can probably, like, what is he talking about there? Because they're still on the subject of declassifying, because that's where he goes to next. So the staffer seems a little bit concerned. And he's like, I think we can. And you hear her go, and then he goes, as president, I could have declassified him, but I can't now. Do you see? The horse is out of the barn here, man. It's not a smoking gun, but it ain't good. It ain't a good look to be playing in court. Start it again. Let's hear this whole
thing. Given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
declassify.
Figure out
See, as president, I could have.
We should see if we could probably see, declassify it. As president, I could have declassified. So he's trying to retroactively now. He realizes on some level that maybe he shouldn't have just been doing this. And now he's worried about,
Declassified. No, I can't, but this is
classified. Now we have a problem.
Isn't that
classified? He just
said, as president, I could have declassified. No, I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
As president, I could have declassified it, but now I can't because this is classified. That's what he just said. Now, is he lying? Like I say, this whole thing is problematic. He might just be trying to show off for these people, which, albeit not illegal, and isn't a surprise to people like me who basically looked at this guy 25 years ago and went, okay, so we see what kind of, self-aggrandizing, narcissist he is. So maybe he is lying. Maybe he is lying to these people about showing them classified documents. Maybe he is doing that performatively. Maybe this whole thing, I could have declassified it as, maybe this is all a performance where he's not showing them classified documents, but he's making them think they're seeing classified documents because his narcissism wants him to be the big man in the room that they all go, oh, we're so special. Not only are we in his orbit, but he's showing us things that we can't talk about. Like, that makes people feel special. And that is what a salesman does. So is this criminal? Or is this just a salesman? There are a lot of questions. This is not a smoking gun. What it is very unpresidential. That's what it is. That's what everybody, there isn't even anybody that's going, yeah, it's totally acceptable behavior. No, it's bad behavior, but is it criminal? Is it a smoking gun for the case that is trying to be made against him? I don't know. I mean, it just tells me pretty much everything that I already thought about him, that he was a narcissist who likes to show off.
Yeah. It's so cool. I mean, it's so, here and I have, and you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
it's incredible, right?
No,
hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
Bring some Cokes in. You want some Cokes?
He's a big.
All right, there you go. So that's the tape. That's what everybody's going all blur, blur, blur. It is interesting. It is an interesting peek inside this guy's life. It is an interesting peek inside of how he behaves behind the scenes. Here's the other thing. They knew it was being recorded too, which is also interesting, which, the people who argue that Trump plays 3D chess, they're like, he knew it was being recorded. It was all of a sudden. No, I think he knew it was being recorded and he forgot because he's like an 80-year-old man. And he just went into his sales thing where he's like, blah, blah, and then he realizes like, oh, maybe this is being recorded. I don't know how all that works. I don't know, like he's not in the Oval Office, so the recordings are not the property of the archivist the way Oval Office recordings are. He's in his private office. There is no reason this tape should exist. How does this tape exist? That's a question. Where did this tape come from? Not the leak. That's a second question. It was leaked to CNN. But before that, the tape existed in order to be. So where did that tape come from? How did Jack Smith and the special counsel get this tape? Bedminster is a private club. He's the owner. He shouldn't be forced to give up private recordings. That seems like that would be a whole. Anyway, that's where we are on this. That's the Trump audio story. You've heard the audio. Use your head. Determine whatever it is you want to determine about it. But holy shit, that is not a good look. It's not a good look. Not a good day. Also trending today along these same lines. We won't spend too much time on this because I hate this crap, but we are in an indictment watch. We are in a twofold indictment watch concerning the special counsel's investigation into the president's role in the January 6th insurrection. And we are in an indictment watch in Georgia. Both of those investigations have done today. They've called meetings with people that experts are saying signals that they're about to release an indictment, that they're or say no indictment, either indictment or no indictment. So we are in an indictment watch. So the last two times we were in indictment watches, they came down with indictments. The New York one, now the Florida one, and either Georgia or January 6th might be making an announcement today. At the very worst, they're saying by the end of the week. So indictment watch. Keep your eyes open for that. Also trending today, Epstein. Here's a subject we can all agree on. Here's something we all agree on. It's funny. There are certain things that we don't agree on anything really as a people, as a group of people. We get into our little tribes and we fill each other's heads with bullshit. And then, we just stick to that sort of narrative and that agenda. We go through life part of a tribe. But we do all agree on Epstein, right? We all agree that Epstein is a son of a bitch and that something ain't right about the way Epstein went out. That's beautiful. It's like weed. People on the far left are all like for weed legalization. People on the far right are all for weed legalization. The crazy wings are all in agreement there. Two things they agree on: weed and, as it turns out, Epstein. So today, a watchdog group who is tasked with getting to the bottom of what happened with Epstein, because if you remember, Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire child molester. He had an island, but that's the thing. Everybody focuses on the island. He went to the island like 5 times. He molested kids all over in Florida and all over the world in hotel rooms. But, it's glamorous thinking he has an island where all this takes place. The island wasn't even like that big of a player. It's just a fascinating aspect of it. He's a monster. We know this. So Epstein molested a whole bunch of kids with the help of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was his sort of wing woman, I guess. She would make the women feel safe. And apparently, if you believe crazy rumors and all that, everybody you have ever had a political disagreement was friends with Epstein and is in a book. That's how it works. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. If there is a politician that you disagree with, he's in Epstein's book. And that's why we all want to know the answers here. We all want to know. Trump, Epstein's friend. Clinton, Epstein's friend. You know what I mean? It's like anybody that you don't like has been rumored to be a friend of Epstein. So there's a lot of information that could have been gleaned from a talking Epstein. And Epstein wasn't allowed to talk because he was found dead in his cell, hanging there in Brooklyn Correctional. I'm not sure, somewhere in New York. Here's the thing that the whole world said at once. How the fuck did that happen? We all said that, right? Epstein, you're telling me you don't have cameras on him? Oh, no, we have cameras on him. Okay, let's see the tape. Oh, they weren't working. You got a guy like Epstein, and you're not going to make sure that the cameras work all the time. You don't have fucking backup cameras. No, they do. If there were people at that level who were very determined to see Jeffrey Epstein be forced to stand trial and answer for his crimes and possibly let us know about, I'm not going to call it a network because I'm not a crazy person, but his group of little buddies that he used to run around with that were molesting kids. Yeah, we'd like to know those names, but no, never got them. Never even got close. Couldn't even ask the question because he just mysteriously died. He had extra bed linens. So there's been a watchdog group that's been investigating this for the government. And guess what they found out? Guess what the watchdog, after all this time, they've determined, yeah, it's the fault of the $35,000 a year guards. That's who they're blaming. That's it. The buck is going to stop with the guys that were there at the time. I think the buck should start with the guys who were there at the time. And then let's find out, let's determine, was this really just a couple of really bad actors? And by bad actors, I mean terrible jail guards who didn't keep an eye on. Why wasn't there a dude sitting in a chair just staring at him all the time? How hard would that be? Just pull shifts. This is Jeffrey Epstein. This isn't some carjacker that you picked up on Staten Island. This is Jeffrey Epstein. This is a guy. Wasn't this also a federal detention center that he was in? I don't know. But here's what the watchdog says. Misconduct by jail guards led to Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, Justice Department watchdog group says. And they're not looking any further. They're not gonna check to see if any of these jail guards suddenly bought jet skis. They're not looking to see if any of the girlfriends of these jail guards are walking around with diamond rings and fur coats. No, they're just gonna blame the jail guards. Jeffrey Epstein was left alone in his jail cell with a surplus of bed linens the night he killed himself. Nearly all the surveillance cameras on his unit didn't record. One worker was on duty for 24 hours straight, and despite his high profile and a suicide attempt 2 weeks earlier, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't checked on regularly as required. The Justice Department's watchdog said Tuesday that a combination of negligence, misconduct, and outright job performance failures by the Federal Bureau of Prisons and workers, let's just fuck up the life of some jail guard. Let's blame him for this. Let's put his name out there. Hey, can we get his name public so we can put it on 4chan so that this guy for the rest of his life can deal with crazy QAnon freaks trying to kill him and his kids? Let's do that. It's the jail guard who's responsible. Inspector General Michael Horowitz blamed numerous factors for Epstein's death, including the jail's failure to assign him a cellmate and overworked guards who lied on logs after failing to make regular checks. Had the guards done so, Horowitz said, they would have found Epstein had excess linens, which he used in his suicide. I don't know. I just rewatched Tyrant, which is so good. It's on Hulu. Tyrant is an FX series from about 10 years ago. It ran for like 3 or 4 seasons. It's really good. It's about a Middle Eastern dictator and his American kid who comes over and takes over. And it's so good. Anyway, there is a scene where the daughter of the prince, who's not really a prince because they don't call themselves a monarchy, but anyway, he's like the prince of the country. He's the son of the president, who's president for life. So, like a king. So the wife of the prince is in a hospital and they kill her Epstein style. She hangs herself, but we get to see how she's forced to hang herself. So, there you go. I think that's what happened. I think Epstein was hung. I don't think Epstein hung himself. I think he was hung. And I want to know why he was hung. I want to know who hung him. I'm guessing it's the jail guards. But I want to know why. Developing ... All right, here we go. Next story. Texas heat. Now, I said that this wasn't going to be a story this week because, they had blown their Texas heat wad last week. When they were talking about, it's so terrible in Texas. It was only like in the 90s. And we're like, it ain't that terrible yet. 1 o'clock. All right, this is good. Yesterday at this time, it was 100 degrees. Today, it's only 98 degrees at 1 o'clock. Let's see what it's going to go up to here. Yeah, it says we're going to top out at 100. All right, so we're going to top out at 100 today, it says. Oh, these are almost never right. Going to top off at 100 today at 3 p.m. And then what are we looking at tomorrow? Oh, the next 1, 2, 3 days are going to be awful. Wednesday, 104. Thursday, 103. Friday, 101. I don't know what that means with, what do they call it? Heat index. I don't know what that's going to feel like, but oh my God. Didn't walk the dog this morning. Nope. Took one look outside and went, you don't want to do this. And she doesn't. She doesn't look at her. She hasn't been outside, but this heat, man, she does not like this heat. She's just sitting in her chair. You okay, baby? You got a weather report for us? You want to tell us what? No. Yeah, it's just hot. All right, there you go. That's her. She's hot. And you're hot too. So Texas heat. A brutal heat wave is gripping Texas for the third straight week. Punishing heat is gripping Texas, with tens of millions of people in other states across the South also facing scorching conditions. Is this early for us here in Texas for this? I don't think so. Like, I don't think this is early. Like, it seems to me that it's been, hold on. Sorry, I got to fix this light. Seems to me that it's been 100 this early before, but I don't know if this is just an indicator that this summer is going to be like 105 all of August, then no thank you. In an update Monday, the weather agency said the oppressive heat has been caused by a stagnant upper level ridge over the south central United States. Adding that the dome of high pressure is expanding and will blast heat over much of the southern band of the country in coming days. In Texas, San Angelo hit a record high of 112 degrees. That's pretty big. That was on Sunday. Let's see. Del Rio set a record high temperature of 110 for the day. The agency said it was the 8th straight day that Del Rio had set a daily record high temperature. Where's Del Rio? Is that are we talking like down like by Mexico at the very bottom by the Gulf? Because that's always crazy hot down there. But that's also like 500 miles away from here. All right, Texas heat. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Oh, man. Can you imagine the air conditioning going out? Do you know, I'll tell you, the air conditioning in this house where I'm staying right now, because the air conditioning in the guest house, the guest apartment where I used to live, that went out. So I'm over here in the big place. The air conditioning, first of all, there's 2 big air conditioning units. I got upstairs and downstairs. So I'm constantly running around. When I'm not in the studio here, I turn this one down up to 80, or I put it up to 80 so we're not cranking it. Downstairs is always set to like 76. But last night, man, even though it was 100 degrees out at like 10 o'clock at night, I was watching TV after we finished the 9 o'clock stream. I was watching TV in sweatpants and a sweater. I put a sweater on. I don't take that for granted. That's thank you. I'm glad air conditioning works. Texas heat, so deal with it. The Idol, HBO's The Idol, the new controversial series from the creator of that other controversial series, the one that's got Zendaya. I don't even know what it's called. Something. It's a show for girls. It's not a show for girls. It's a show for young people, and it's about young girls having sex. And I just don't think it appeals to me on any level. So that guy, what's his name? Josh Levinson? Is that his name? I don't know. I try to keep up on all the hot young showrunners, but so he pitched another show to HBO, and it was called The Idol. We talked about it. It was very, very controversial. It was about a Britney Spears type who gets caught up in some Hollywood cult that is run by The Weeknd, right? Not the actor. Well, I guess he is an actor now. But The Weeknd, the performer. So he plays this cult guy. Oh, my God. They took it to Cannes, and at Cannes, a whole bunch of people walked out, and HBO was like, that's how in your face it is. People are going to be blown away by this. The people in Cannes can't handle it, but HBO, this is going to be our next Game of Thrones. They were really excited about it. Well, yeah, not so much. Absolutely nobody is watching The Idol. The critical consensus is that it's one of the worst things that's ever been on television. And although it was originally slated for a 5-episode first season run, it was only 5 episodes. It was supposed to be 5 episodes. They're just going to end it at 4. They're just next week. This Sunday is the final episode of The Idol. They're just, now I don't know. They've had a week. So will they take the 4th episode and the 5th episode and try and edit them together to have some sort of conclusion to the story? I never watched it. The night it debuted, I was like, oh, I'm gonna check that show out because a lot of people are talking about it. But then I immediately started seeing these like reviews from people who I respect, television people. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I shouldn't watch. And then sure enough, it's like everybody's like, yeah, this is terrible. And then the only people who love it, like there is a hashtag, like the idol hashtag. You look at the people who love it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to love something they love. I don't think I have anything in common with these people. So the idol, HBO, pulled the plug on it. See you later. Get out of town. UFOs. UFOs are trending. Let's talk about this because you know it's one of my favorite subjects of all time. Who doesn't love UFOs? Me. I love UFOs. UAPs, UFOs. Oh, I like them all. Doesn't matter. Can I show you guys something weird? I tried to take a picture of it. I don't. How would I do this? I guess like this. Yeah, I'll do it like this. I tried to take a picture of it, but I can't. For obvious reasons. Reasons that will become clear. I have 2 blisters on each thumb in the exact same place, and I don't know what it is. Do you see these? Do you see the red blister? See that red see that red blister right on the thumb, and see that red blister on the thumb? I was like, I tried to. I'm like, oh, I should tweet this. Somebody might have an answer for me. And then I got my phone, and I'm like, I can't take a picture if I'm showing both thumbs. So this is the only way I can show it. Does anybody know what's happening to me? Am I dying? Is this like the start of like, how are they in the exact same? Here's what I think. I think it's jet ski related. I really do. I think because I was like, what was I doing with both hands that was the same? And I think I came up with jet skis, but I don't know what would be right here on this side and right here on the, I don't know. Anyway, I'm dying is what I'm trying to say. And these are the opening stages of my eventual demise. No idea. No idea. Rubio, speaking of the unknown, Marco Rubio. So, hold on, let me pull this up. I do not think that Marco Rubio is a very credible man. I used to think, oh, this is an interesting guy. But he has, over the past 5 or 6 years, he has shown an ability to be a paper bag in the wind. He has shown an ability to go wherever it is in his best interest to be. And I don't necessarily find, I'm one of these idiots looking for a guy who has conviction that I believe in. I'm looking for a guy who's believable and authentic, right? And I thought maybe that was Marco Rubio, but I've got some problems. So it upsets me that Marco Rubio is the highest profile politician in this country to be taking the UFO UAP debate seriously. And he's taking it seriously. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks. Congress has been holding these hearings with this new government agency that has been developed. It is an agency kind of like the X-Files. Basically, just think of it this way. The X-Files are real now. There's an agency that is looking into all of these sightings, primarily the military sightings. Now, why are they doing this? They're doing this because the Freedom of Information Act was allowed to, a bunch of stuff that was before classified has been declassified, and now it was available, and everybody started showing these F-16 video, recorded from fighter pilots and all that. We started seeing all of this evidence of weird stuff that cannot be easily explained. And so Congress was finally forced, because those all became public, they were forced to go, all right, we'll look into it. So they've created this agency. And this agency is now reporting, and has been reporting over the last couple of weeks, on, what they're doing and why they need their money. They got to justify what they're around for. Congress doubles down on explosive claims of illegal UFO retrieval programs. So that was the big deal a couple weeks ago, where a dude who's a very serious dude, he was the Assistant Secretary of Defense. Okay. It's a big job here in the United States. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. That's the British guy. It was the Assistant Ministry of Defense Secretary. The guy in America who came forward was in defense, but it was like one of these clandestine intelligence organizations in defense. But he was a legit guy. I mean, there was no denying this guy. This guy has been trusted at the highest level of this government with important things throughout his career. Right? He's not someone who anyone thinks is crazy, and which is why it was interesting when he came forward and he said, he didn't say he had firsthand knowledge. He said that he had secondhand knowledge from people that he had worked with in these intelligence agencies about recovered materials that were believed to be not of human origin. Now, that doesn't mean crashed UFO. That's what the tabloids ran with. Crashed UFOs recovered by Congress. Okay, let's take baby steps here. Let's just go through this. Before we start getting silly about what these things are, let's just acknowledge step by step. Do we have something? Yes. Do we know what it is? No. Are you trying to figure out what it is? Yes. That's where we are. And that's all we're being told. But, people are like, it's proof that aliens are here. Nobody wants proof that there are aliens quite like me for a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe sometime on a nighttime show, if I'm drunk, I'll go into, but not here. Not now. Asked June 26th about allegations of secret UFO retrieval and reverse engineering programs, Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman Marco Rubio made several stunning statements. In an exclusive interview, Rubio told News Nation Washington correspondent Joe Cahill that multiple individuals with very high clearances. All right, you know what? I'm just going to play it for you. Let me just play it for you. I will show you exactly what Marco Rubio said. And like I said, there was a time when I thought Marco Rubio was a legit guy. And, then he did some things that made me go, oh, he's a clown show. He's just like all the rest of them. He just cleans up nice and makes you think that he's a good boy. But he's not a good boy. He's a bad boy. Here's what Marco Rubio said on this. And it really is quite stunning. Here you go. Let's watch.
Will say there are people that have come forward to share information with our committee over the last couple of years. I would imagine some of them are potentially some of the same people that perhaps he's referring to. I want to be very protective of these people. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward.
Sorry, people who have had firsthand knowledge, who claim to have firsthand knowledge of seeing this type of thing?
Or have firsthand knowledge or firsthand claims of certain things. Some are public figures, and you've heard from them in the past. Others, have not shared publicly. And so we're trying to gather as much of that information as we can. And the reason why I'm being cautious, I'm not trying to be evasive, but I am trying to be protective of these people. Some of these people still work in the government. And frankly, a lot of them are very fearful of their jobs, fearful of their clearances, fearful of their career. And some, frankly, are fearful of harm coming to them.
So that category of people who have firsthand knowledge, who say they have actually seen these kinds of things, do you find many of them credible?
Well, I don't find them either not credible or credible because we have no basis. Understand some of these claims are things that are beyond sort of the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with. What I think we owe them is just a mature, understand, listening and trying to put all these pieces together and just sort of intake the information without any prejudgment or jumping to any conclusions in one direction or another. I will say I find most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, like, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up?
So Brian, not exactly saying yes or no that they're credible or not credible, but he said he doesn't see a reason for many of these people to fabricate these kinds of things, and says that they are serious people. And you just heard him, in high levels of the government, some of them even still working in those capacities. He did go on to say, we have to be cautious about this because we don't want to jump to any conclusion one way or another. Many of these claims, he says, are...
By the way, let me just point something out. That guy on the left is Brian Enton, and he is filling in for, I guess, Ashley Banfield. I don't watch News Nation, but if Brian Enton is going to be anchoring shows, I will start watching News Nation, because this dude is one of the best journalists out there. Half the stories that I've been fascinated by over the past couple of years have been led by this dude, Brian Enton. I mean, from
Fan-
Natalie. Remember who was the girl, the missing girl in Florida with Brian Laundrie? Natalie, Nicole. I'm sorry, I should know. He did that story. He was all over the Utah college kids story. I mean, just a whole bunch of shit. This guy Brian Netton, I like him.
Fantastical. So you just have to stick to where the facts take you.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's Marco Rubio speaking seriously on a subject that until very recently has always been met with rolled eyes and okay, whatever. Serious stuff. Marco Rubio. I don't know. I just wish I didn't have. I don't trust Marco Rubio. That's what it comes down to. I don't trust him. It's like, he's saying this and I'm like, it serves my personal wants to hear what he's saying. What he's saying is pleasing me, right? But then again, that's what this guy does. He says he says whatever pleases. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of credibility Marco Rubio has. It's upsetting. Here's a story. Let's see. Let's move through here. Beach of death. What is this? What is this story? I don't even remember putting this story. Oh yeah, I do. Oh, okay. Beach of death. Here you go. What is the most deadly beach in all of America? Are you ready? Panama City. That's right. Go to Panama City Beach, you're going to die. Multiple tourists have recently died at a U.S. beach that is known as the deadliest in the nation. 3 more people died swimming in the Gulf of Mexico at Florida's Panama City Beach on Saturday, pushing its death toll to 7 fatalities along the coast with only 9 days. So 7 people have died on Panama Beach in the last 9 days. And it goes on to say why they die. Well, it's Panama. Here's how they die, okay? So these people, nobody's getting eaten by sharks. Nobody's getting stabbed. Nobody's, they say that, maybe some medical emergency started some of this. But most of the people drowned off Panama City Beach because they went out too far or completely ignored the warnings. Like, for instance, they say that 3 days last week, they had double red flags flying. Double red flags flying on Panama City Beach means don't go in the water. Means that there are currents, there are rip currents, it's bad. And if you do go in the water, don't go above your waist because you might get taken out to sea, right? That's what the double red flag. They said everybody died during the double red flags. People just going out there, well, I don't care, hell, man, I can do it, I'm a man. You know what I mean? Is this South Beach? I've been to South. I've never been to Panama City Beach. I've been to South Beach. You know what South Beach is? A bunch of skeevies, a bunch of rich people, a bunch of models. That's like in Florida. That's South Florida. That's Miami. That's the Miami Beach down there. South Beach is like very sort of, I dare I say, douchebaggery mixed with some sort of Eurotrash sophistication. I don't think that's the case at Panama City. I imagine dudes driving pickup trucks just right up onto the beach in Panama City. I think that's a hillbilly beach, right? And are these hillbillies that are just going out there? They go, I care about no double red flags, and then they're drowning. Because doesn't the beach? I mean, is one beach necessarily more dangerous than the other, or is it just the people who frequent those beaches are more likely to be risk takers than others? Anyway, I ain't never been to Panama City. That seems like a hillbilly part of Texas, though. If I'm being honest, it seems like a hillbilly part of Florida. I don't like any parts of Florida, but if I got to go to Florida, it's going to be Miami. It's going to be a nice hotel. There's going to be restaurants involved. There's going to be shopping. I don't want to go live in like no, never mind. Florida's too humid. That's really my big problem with Florida. I can't get comfortable there. I've been there enough times, and you just never been to Florida, right? No, I've been to Florida. It's just too humid. It's like soupy. Ugh, it's hard to breathe. That's your beach of death, the most deadly beach in America, Panama City Beach. World Drug Report is out. This is a report that talks about drugs, talks about what drugs we're using, what drugs we're liking, all this stuff. Marijuana is, of course, the #1 drug in the world. Congratulations, marijuana. Actually, that's not true. Marijuana is the #1 illicit drug. Caffeine is actually the #1 drug in the world because, yes, the World Drug Report does consider caffeine, sugar, and nicotine to be drugs. But as far as the fun drugs, which I suppose some people would say caffeine is fun. No, caffeine's not fun. Caffeine is not a fun drug. Caffeine is a bad drug if you don't have it. Like if you have caffeine, like if you wake up in the morning, you make your coffee, you neither feel good or bad about that. That's just what you need. It's your coffee. But if the coffee's not there to be made, now you're in a bad mood. Now because you don't have the drug, now you're pissed. Yeah. Anyway, let's delve into this. The big takeaway from the World Drug Report. Oh, hold on. Do I not have this story? Hold on. Yeah, all right. The big takeaway from the World Drug Report, and this is crazy, is that cocaine is like hugely popular in the last year. Cocaine production, distribution, use, death, all of that stuff. Cocaine is up like 15%. Now, why is that? Because you would think, look, I got a teenager who's going to be entering the world of, backyard parties and people introducing him to things. It's just part of growing up and all that stuff. So I talk to my kid a lot about drugs. I talk to him a lot about, what to look out for and all this stuff. And we pretty much have a rule. There are no powders, no pills, no pricks, right? No needles, no pills, no powders, nothing like that. Okay. Take a hit of weed if you must, okay? A beer at a backyard party if you must. That's fine. No hard liquors, right? So we have these conversations. And one of the reasons that I feel fairly comfortable that my son is never going to do cocaine is because of all of the fentanyl deaths over the last year. I mean, every time I am so on this, every time something bad happens with fentanyl, I'll just pull it up on my computer and act like I just stumbled across it. Hey, look at this. Another group of teenagers, and this time in Cincinnati. They were at a backyard party, and somebody had a little coke, and now they're all dead. I do that to them. So I'm walking around here going, my kid's never going to do cocaine because he truly believes that there is a really good chance that he's going to die from fentanyl poisoning if he does. Now, that's been the publicity of the last year about cocaine. Yet somehow cocaine is rising in popularity. How is that? Humans. That's what that is. Humans. This is why I so desperately want to make connection with an alien race of people. I need them to look at what we're doing. I need to see what they're doing. I just need something to compare it to. Because honestly, if humanity is the best that we have, cocaine going through the roof. Now, the reason for this is because of fentanyl, because of cocaine is being, first of all, they're producing more cocaine than has ever been produced in the world because the processing and all of that, the way to make cocaine has been streamlined, manufactured. The Henry Ford system has been put in place. They're basically cranking out cocaine at a level that they never have before. And they're cutting it with things that they didn't used to cut it with, like fentanyl, which is leading to all these deaths. Also, governments around the world have sort of loosened up on their drug trafficking operations in favor of those funds going towards terrorist prevention and those kinds of things. Understandable. The last 20 years, we've seen an uptick in terrorists and all that kind of stuff. So countries with only X amount of money in their bank, they have to distribute those funds in different ways. So drug dealers internationally have found it easier in recent years to get past, federal authorities. So those are the reasons why there's more cocaine cut with, more bullshit so that there's more cocaine on top of that. There's more cocaine being produced, but then they're cutting it differently. So there's even more cocaine being produced. And despite the fact that all of these people are dying from the fentanyl and cocaine seems more deadly now than it ever has been, it's still right. It's still wildly popular and gaining. It's up year after year. Why? Because humans are fucking idiots. All right. Moving on. Here's another one I don't want to do. This is a story that's trending, and we got to talk about the stories that are trending. So let's go ahead. Let's do it. You guys know about Roseanne trending today? Oh, God. Roseanne Barr. Okay. So full disclosure, I never really got Roseanne Barr. Like when Roseanne Barr was like a big comedian, I was a teenage boy. I'm sorry, but put upon housewife humor wasn't really appealing to me at 20 years old. So I was like, yeah, I don't really like this broad. And then, you know, the show Roseanne came on and that was a good show. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like her. I like her as a personality and all that stuff, but never really so much as a, and then I remember defending Roseanne Barr. I remember when the entire, which is interesting when you consider the lay of the land now, but when the entire, you know, right-minded patriots of America decided that Roseanne Barr was awful because she did a humorous rendition of the national anthem. I remember being like, man, you guys got to leave her alone. That is some bullshit. You people, that says. So I was actually, you know, I was on her side there. I've taken a lot of sides. You know, I was on Sinead O'Connor's side when she ripped the Pope's picture up and everybody was like, she can't do that. And I'm like, but she's talking about child molestation. Isn't that serious? No, you can't rip up a picture of the Pope. We need to destroy her. And that's basically what happened. But with Roseanne Barr, you know, I've always kind of been intrigued by her, and I thought she was a bit of a loose cannon. And, you know, I even came to like Tom Arnold for a period of time. I thought that they were fascinating as a couple. Roseanne Barr is trending today because, well, I'm going to play this. This is why she's trending. She's trending with Theo Von, who is a very funny comedian, certainly provocative. He does a podcast that's pretty in your face. But I think Theo Von, as a stand-up comedian, is a pretty funny guy. He had Roseanne Barr on, and they did this. And I'll just play it, and that's all. We'll just leave it like this, and then we'll have a little conversation about it because I do think some context needs to be added. But here is Roseanne Barr today being interviewed by Theo Von, and people are losing their shit.
See, that's the truth. And don't you dare say anything against it or you'll be off YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other ones, because we have, you know, there's such a thing as the truth and facts, and we have to stick to it. And, you know,
it's scary.
And that is the truth. And nobody died in the Holocaust either.
No.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
It should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now, because they cause all the problems in the world, but it never happened. But it never happened.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Well, because you're part Jewish, right? Part of your family's Jewish?
I'm all Jewish.
You're all Jewish.
100%.
And a lot of Hollywood is Jewish, yeah? It's like a lot of Hollywood is a Jewish business, really. Well, they started Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right. But so was it weird
Just
that...
like rap. Black people started rap.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go over there and try to get in rap and go, all these black people, you know, go on Saturday Night Live like Dave Chappelle. I'm just saying a lot of black people are in control of rap.
Right.
Hello? Well, you went there. You
Yeah.
try to get in show business. Of course it's Jewish. But, you know, and people should be glad that it's Jewish too, because if Jews were not controlling Hollywood, all you'd have was fucking fishing shows.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, dude.
All right, that's good. That was a good line. Unfortunately, it was some of the other things that she said that are getting people all twisted. I played that because it's trending. I'm going to reserve judgment because I need to see the whole interview. I need to know, you know, that is an incredibly shocking take. It's even worse that Theo was like, yeah, that he agreed with it. But I need to see the previous 10 minutes of conversation. I need to understand, was there context? Was she being, because there are some people who are saying that she was being sarcastic. She wasn't. So, well, okay. So in order to see if she was being sarcastic, I'm going to need a little bit more. I'm going to need to hear the tone of the conversation before that. I'm going to need to hear how they got into this line. You know, that's pretty. If she is being truthful, if she is just seriously saying that 6 million Jews need to die because they're behind everything bad, and you know, what are you going to do to Roseanne at this point? You know what I mean? What are you going to do to her? She's sitting on a pile of money. She's fine. She's got the fuck you money, which is something that we all strive for. And now I see that Theo Von is trending, and I think that's because the mob that is coming for these people, and maybe rightfully so. Again, I don't know, because I need to see this with more context. I have listened to a number of Theo Von's podcasts before, so I'm going to go find that. And today when I do my walk, I'm going to listen to that whole podcast, and then I'll have an opinion on whether or not I think Roseanne Barr was actually calling for 6 million Jews to be killed because that would make the world a better place, or if Roseanne Barr really believes that the Holocaust never happened, right? I need the context of that. Anybody can take a 2-minute clip from an otherwise 2-hour-long conversation and put it out there and have everybody on the social networks reacting in the moment without all of the facts and all the context. Anybody can do that. I will say this, just like I said about the Trump tape, that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, but I don't know. I do not know. Here's what I do know about Roseanne Barr that needs to be taken quite seriously. Roseanne Barr is not a normal person. She has never been a normal person. So if you consider yourself a normal person, not a broken, not a damaged, not a mentally disabled person, as Roseanne Barr considers herself, if you consider yourself none of those things, then you shouldn't really be quick to agree with her. You need to take in the full idea of what's going on with Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr has been in and out of mental institutions almost her entire life. When she was a young woman, she was hit by a car and suffered a severe traumatic brain injury that everybody says she was a completely different person after that. So she has some things, and she has talked at great length throughout her long 30, 35-year career about her battles with mental breaks, her problems, her, she's in the 90s, she was saying she was schizophrenic as an excuse for all the crazy behavior and all that stuff. I don't know. But, it is known that she is not right in the head. And it's pretty much clear that whatever happened to her when she suffered her traumatic brain injury as a child, it changed her. Everybody says it changes her. So, and I know that having suffered a traumatic brain injury myself, I do know that it changes you. I still believe in the Holocaust, so it hasn't changed me there, but it certainly does change your mood. It changes your ability to regulate your moods. You might fly off the handle. I mean, these are all very real things that need to be taken into consideration. I want to listen to that entire conversation. I'll listen to that entire conversation. I'll tell you what, I listened to the entire Joe Rogan RFK Jr. conversation. Didn't really want to, but I figured a lot of people are talking about this. I should probably be aware. I should probably know what I'm talking about if I'm opposed to it. So I listened to that whole thing. I'll listen to this one. I will listen to Theo Von. I'll get back to you. That's what we're going to have to do. Silicon Valley and drugs. That's trending. Silicon Valley and drugs is trending because Silicon Valley is really getting behind this whole microdosing, ketamine thing. We've got a list here of some interesting people, big names, and the drugs that they like to use. Okay. This is all our Silicon Valley heroes: magic mushrooms, LSD, and ketamine, the drugs that power Silicon Valley. Entrepreneurs including Elon Musk, who of course we know, Sergey Brin, Google, are part of a drug movement that proponents hope will expand minds, enhance lives, and produce business breakthroughs. See, these are easy. These are easy when you have $100 billion in the bank, you can afford to be tripping balls at noon on a Wednesday. I don't know that normal people can. Elon Musk takes ketamine. Sergey Brin takes magic mushrooms. And the executives at the Founders Fund are known to take LSD. All right. So there you go. LSD, mushrooms, and ketamine. I don't know what ketamine does. I thought ketamine was the date rape drug. Why is Elon Musk taking the date rape drug? There you go. Your Silicon Valley heroes telling us all that we should be tripping balls. Actually, I couldn't possibly. I don't want everybody tripping balls at noon on a Wednesday. Some of us can. That's fine, but not everybody. How about more Silicon Valley news? The big awaited fight between Zuck versus Musk. Remember this from a couple of days ago? There was a challenge match. Elon Musk and Brazilian jiu-jitsu enthusiast Mark Zuckerberg, they were going to fight, and Dana White's like, they're going to fight, and blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently that's all on hold because Elon Musk's mom, May Musk, has gotten herself involved here, and she has forbidden her son from engaging in a fight with Mark Zuckerberg. Don't encourage this match. Elon Musk's mother, May, says fight between billionaire and Mark Zuckerberg is canceled. Elon Musk challenged Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg to a cage fight on June the 20th, and he responded the next day, asking him to send me the location. But the Tesla founder's mother, May Musk, 75, is very much against the idea of her son getting hurt in the ring. She took to Twitter to share her opposition to the matchup and told people not to encourage it and said that she has canceled the fight. Now, Elon Musk's mom sounds fun, if in fact she's being tongue-in-cheek, which I hope she is. Elon Musk's mother is worried for her son's safety and told people don't encourage this match when asked about the possibility of the Tesla founder facing off against Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg. However, May Musk, 75, is very much against the idea of her son getting hurt in the ring. She took to Twitter to share her up. Oh, mom, you want mom to be like, yeah, kick his ass, son. You don't want mom to be like, that's not how a mom needs to be. A mom cannot. Mom's going negative. Mom, why are you suggesting he's going to beat me up? Don't be on my side here, mom. You know, kind of reveals how mom sees you. She took to Twitter to share her opposition to the matchup and told people not to encourage it. She said that she had canceled the fight. Musk issued the challenge last week. There was discussion on Facebook with Facebook founder and Meta creator Mark Zuckerberg, who accepted. Zuckerberg responded, blah, blah, blah. All right. But mom says it's a no-go, and that's pretty much all they need to both walk away. Zuckerberg versus Musk. Zuckerberg is 39 years old. Musk is 51. Zuckerberg is 5'7". Musk is 5'11". Zuckerberg is 154 pounds. Musk is 178. Zuckerberg is an American. Musk is South African. People forget that. People think Musk is American. He ain't American. Meta versus Twitter. Zuckerberg has 3 kids. Musk has 9. All right, so. And then here's the bullshit part. It says discipline, like they always say. Discipline. Mark Zuckerberg, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Elon Musk. Elon Musk's disciplines are karate, taekwondo, and judo. Never in the history of discussions about Elon Musk has it been revealed that he is into karate, taekwondo, or judo. That's some bullshit right there. But we know that Zuckerberg is into judo. Zuckerberg, does judo tournaments and stuff like that. Here, let's see what we got here. Is this going to take forever? I think this is going to take forever to download, so maybe we won't be able to see this. We got some video here of, here we go. Let's see what this is. All right, here's so what we're looking here. We got some video.
I'm gonna be like this.
Start from the beginning. Ugh, hate this. You can't pause it. All right. So this is Zuck training with. He's not the Machado. This is one of his teachers. A big man, Mickey Zuckerberg. All right, he got tapped there.
Okay. So I'm gonna be like this. Okay. And then go. Yeah.
Little leg. Switch to side control. Rotate. Oh, he's going for an arm bar. That's a nice move.
That was perfect.
That was great. Yeah, that was great. Okay.
That was nice, man. See, look, here's the thing. Here's why Zuckerberg would actually just freaking house Musk. It's not about who's bigger or who's faster or anything like that. It's about who knows how to fight. That is 100% what it comes down to. You will find when you get into a scrap with somebody that much of the time, the guy, hey, I tell you what, man, you bowing up on me. Much of the time, that guy doesn't know how to fight. And when guys don't know how to fight, okay, they don't have a plan, meaning they don't have their first 3 moves in their head. Guys who know how to fight always have their first 3 moves loaded. They know exactly where they're going first, what to expect, how to defend it, and what to do if that goes haywire. A guy who just like throws haymakers, right? That guy's meat to anybody who knows how to fight. A haymaker is one of the easiest. So what I'm saying here is what we just saw there from Mark Zuckerberg, that tells me right there that he would know exactly what to do. But Elon Musk isn't going to be protecting his neck. Elon Musk is going to come out and be like, he's going to throw a haymaker, maybe do a Joe Rogan kick, that maybe he learned on a YouTube video. And then he's going to get his neck taken almost immediately and he's going to stop breathing and he's going to tap. I mean, it's not a matter of Mark Zuckerberg is tougher than Elon. It's not a matter of that. That's not what jiu-jitsu is. It's about who knows what to do next, who has the next move already ready to go. That's why I tell everybody, man, the best thing that we did with my kid was got him involved in jiu-jitsu and stuff at a very early age. He's never going to be bullied. You know, he can defend himself. You don't have to worry about him. Kids, boys, especially in this world, man, boys need to know how to fight. That is a problem though for people my age, because, you know, with my age, we were all just, if you were just a big old boy back in 1990 or whatever, you know, nobody fucked with you. You know, maybe you did roids. He was a big old roid boy, you know. Those fuckers don't know how to fight though. See, and now we live in an era where these new disciplines that started to pop up in the 90s. I mean, man, you got like 25, 26, 30, 35-year-old nerds, like nerds, who know how to tangle ass, who know how to do things. Why? Because at 15, their dad made them take jiu-jitsu for 4 years. And yeah, they're like a HR nerd in your office, and they look like, you know, they're 120 pounds soaking wet and all that good stuff. But that dude could probably submit you. And we don't really consider that. A lot of dudes in my generation, you know, we still jaw off to people in bars. Yeah, you got a problem with that? Like, with no skills. We're just walking around in this world not understanding that there are 25-year-old well-trained killers out there who know what to do. Scary world. Scary world. That's why I say get your kids trained, get your boys trained, get your girls trained, get your girls trained in jiu-jitsu so that they can escape, or so that they can drop people to their knees with wrist locks and stuff like that. Or, you know, just get them guns. I don't know, whatever. But you better be ready to use that gun, because somebody who knows jiu-jitsu going to take that gun away from you the minute they see it. And you ain't going to be able to stop it. So you better be ready to kill somebody, because that's your only option. Because somebody who knows how to fight will take that gun from you, unless you're willing to kill them. And, you know, it was just a scrap. Now it's a murder. That's what, you know, so learn to fight is what I'm saying. We need to be able to throw hands again in this country. We need to stop going with weapons. Okay, that little rant is followed up by a new study on sensitive men. That's right, sensitive men. Oh, they're a thing now. Sensitive men. I'm telling you. This whole world is changing. Used to be the sensitive ponytail guy was a negative. You're a sensitive ponytail guy. Nobody liked you, except for some reason, like the hottest chicks. Why is the hottest chick into sensitive ponytail guy? It turns out boys really do cry, according to a new study. Well, yeah, of course, all humans do. It's an emotional response, involuntary in most cases. It turns out boys really do cry. Modern men are now just as likely as women to openly display a sensitive side. This, according to a new study. The poll of 2,000 adults finds that 71% of men confess to being in touch with how they feel. This compared to 82% of women. 71% of men. Okay. Am I in touch with how I feel? Yes, I would consider myself one of those 71%. Why is it important to be in touch with how you feel? Volatility. It's one of the things that I learned about was my big problem. One of the things that I learned through therapy was understanding that I am volatile. And why am I volatile? I'm volatile like a whole bunch of other people because we repress our emotions. Because every little micro bullshit that happens to us, we just fucking swallow and we ignore it and we put our head down and we move forward, because that's what men do. But you keep cramming all that shit down and pretty soon there's no room for it. So you become volatile. And that's when you lose your shit, right? That's when the guy has his big fucking breakdown and he causes so much trouble because of this one eruption, when, you know, you've got to learn how to be in touch with your emotions so that you can manage these little micro things. You know what? If that means, here's something that I always do, and my kid thinks it's hysterical, primal screaming. That's a real release. So instead of just, you know, swallowing it when somebody gives me bullshit and pushing it down there and waiting to put the next bit of bullshit on top of that, if I'm starting to feel like that, because I like to think that I'm in touch with my emotions, when I'm feeling like that, I will go and scream into a fucking pillow. Or I will go in my car. I have gone in my car and just fucking screamed because that release, this is again, I say we can replace the heart, we can fix a broken bone, we can maybe even diagnose diseases, but we don't know shit about the brain. But one of the things that we do know is that kind of an emotional release resets whatever's going on in me and apparently in other people as well. That's why primal scream therapy is something that people did. And then you just blow it off and you go back out and you deal with the asshole again. But you vented in private and you've controlled the venting as opposed to being in a bar going, get the fuck away from me. No, I told that motherfucker. See, that's the guy that's not in touch with his emotions. So, across all respondents who consider themselves sensitive, 41% outwardly show this side of their personality, often or always. A third of men think being in tune with how they feel is the sign of a good leader. Yeah. Yes, these are all leadership skills. 37% of men would consider being called sensitive a compliment. See, 37% of men consider it a compliment. 63% consider it an insult. Is it still that? Because I guess that's how it used to be, right? Like if you were that dude's pretty sensitive. If you say, why are you being so sensitive, right? That's a pejorative. That's a negative. That's not a good thing. So you need to spin. You need to reclaim the definition or how you personally define it. Being sensitive just means, all right, I'm gonna not fuck with that person today because I can see that he is going through something. Being sensitive, being aware, being thoughtful. These are all things that we don't do, but they are tools that can help us have a little bit better of a mental state as we go through the day. 37% of men would consider being called sensitive a compliment. Only 23% of women feel the same way. In fact, 24% of women in the survey would feel insulted if someone referred to them as sensitive. Let's see. The study found 55% think others who openly show their sensitive side makes them more likable. All right, so 55% of people say that people who show their sensitive side are more likable people than those who don't. The research found 48% of respondents believe it's more socially acceptable for women to show their sensitive side than men. Okay. In general, however, 52% consider being seen as sensitive as a positive trait, and 44% say it can help one's ability to succeed in their career. Yes, being sensitive means that you are hyper aware of the lay of the room. You are in tune with the mood. If you are in tune with the mood and you are reading the room correctly, hell yeah, that can help you in your career. You know how to navigate away from the bullshit. Whereas somebody who's not sensitive, who's just like, yeah, what the fuck, I'm here, let's do this. That guy's going to get some opposition. So yes, it all makes sense. Now, using the word sensitive, a lot of people might just be like, so what, do you just cry all the time? No, stop it. That's not what being sensitive means. Just like being thoughtful doesn't mean giving someone flowers. Being thoughtful means thinking before thinking about the situation, before you offer your opinion or your help or whatever. Thoughtful, full of thought on the measure before you act. Being sensitive, just means you're aware of the room. More than a third, 35%, have been in a work situation where they felt their emotional intelligence was an asset to their team or company. Just over 6 in 10, 61%, believe good listening skills show someone has compassion. Yeah. That is a sure sign of a compassionate individual. Somebody who actually take the time and thoughtfully listen to you so that they can then process it and give you an honest and sincere reaction, as opposed to just, most of the time people start talking, and I fall into this a lot. 9 o'clock with the Radio Misfits show. A lot of times he'll start talking and I won't be thoughtful. I'll just start to tune out and drift away. Be thoughtful. Listen to what people are saying. In general, I would say more than a third, 35%, have been in a work situation where they felt their emotional intelligence was an asset to their team or company. Okay. It's in our nature to be sensitive. Yeah, this is a real thing. This is a part of the whole human defense scheme, to be able to tell how things are going and how to react and how to behave emotionally in the moment. That's what being sensitive is. It's in our nature to be sensitive. It's something we all face at times in our life. when the world around us tests our resilience and strength. As our body's largest and most visible organ, our skin can mirror how we are feeling or what we're experiencing when it becomes sensitive. It's because that skin barrier is weakened and compromised. That's like the whole goosebump thing. That's like that. The goose, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, why we get goosebumps. Why you actually get, it's a holdover from when we were monkeys. It's a holdover from when our entire body was covered in hair, and goosebumps, like in apes, like when apes use goosebumps to make their hair stand up more, and so they look bigger and more threatening. So that's why whenever we're a little bit spooked or a little bit scared, we get goosebumps. Isn't that fun? Look at the stuff we learn. Goosebumps are a part of our inner sensitivity, this thing that we have that is aware of our surroundings that we need to get choreographed with our brain. That's the thing. You got to get our natural, intuitive sensitivity sensors in tune with our brain. And then you got to work that all together. And trust me, it ain't easy, and I struggle with it, and I am not a master. I am a messed up individual, but at least I understand that there are like little tools that I can try to utilize to be an even, I don't know, more interesting failure, I suppose. The stereotype that men don't seek professional help for their mental health also seems inaccurate, as 2/3 of male respondents have done so at some point in their lives compared to just half of women. We know for many men, the stigma about being vulnerable and seeking help for their mental health is still very prevalent today. As a society, we need to break down these barriers. Okay, now they're going into the bullshit. Blah blah blah. Shut up about breaking down barriers. Look, people should address their mental states. It can lead to a much better life. You know, guys. We all know people who are always in a bad mood. We all know people who are total pessimists all the time. Everything is like, yeah, whatever. That'll never. We know these people. Those people need to learn the tools to stop being that way. And it'll be like the sun will come up in their world. It's a choice. It's a defense mechanism. People who are overly pessimistic are afraid of being let down or hurt by something that is inevitably coming their way, or so they believe. So that's where the pessimism comes from. Well, something bad's probably going to happen, so I'm just going to tell you that something bad's going to happen and this isn't going to work so that then I can be prepared for it. No, man, stop it. That's crazy. Interesting story there about sensitivity. Men were becoming sensitive. College World Series. Let's break down some video here. This happened at the College World Series. Congratulations to your LSU Tigers winning the College World Series yesterday. This is something that I thought we could have some fun with. We'll watch this. Let's break this down. This was caught in the stands at the College World Series. They're saying it's a rejection. They're saying, oh, man, this dude totally got rejected, man. Isn't it hysterical how rejected he got by this chick? He shot his best shot, and she just shut him down. All right, let's watch the video. That's what everybody's saying, because I got some way different takes on this video. All right, here you go. So this is in the stands, and what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at a dude hitting on a girl, a very cute girl. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me do a little maintenance here real quick. Let's break this down. Yep, that's the one we need. We don't need that. Hold on. We don't need that. All right. All right, so here's what we're looking at. So you see the girl in the white? She's kind of got her hand up. She's got a white top on. Cute young lady there. She's got her hand up. She's kind of like going, no, you stop, okay? Now it's the dude that's with her. I think he's wearing, I don't know if that's a Florida shirt. I don't know what he's wearing. But it's the dude in a blue shirt. He's holding a beer in his right hand. He's got a yellow wrist thing around his wrist. See it right here? Right here. This right here, this guy. So it's this guy shooting his shot with this girl right here. The internet is going, ha ha, she shot him down, ha ha. Well, let's watch. Let's watch this play out, because I'm telling you, I do not agree with that. All right, that's the entire thing. I wanted to let it play. Here, I'm going to let you watch it one more time. One more time. Remember, he's being brutally rejected. This is basically the narrative. She's cute. One more time. Brutally rejected. Here's my take on this. He is not being brutally rejected. He is doing great. It appears to me that he has basically cold called this girl. He doesn't know this girl. He's shooting his shot. He's working on her. Here, we'll go right back to the very beginning. She is doing what every girl is supposed to do. Some strange guy comes up and drops a line. He probably just dropped a line on her, and she instinctively put her hand up and went, no. Now, let me show you how her body language would have played. Here, I'll make it smaller so you can. There we go. Okay. If she was truly not interested, all right, this is how it would have gone down. Okay. I'm going to show you how she would have done it. He's going to be right here, right? He's right here. He's approaching me from this side. My friends are over here. The game is going on in front of us. Okay. So I would have done this. That's the move if she wasn't interested. This girl is in play. This girl does the nope and then locks eye contact with him, smiles really big, and he sort of goes like this. Nope, I'm not into it, right? He's playing the thing. And instead of her turning away and ending it, no, she engages with him and starts to talk to him. This guy is not being rebuffed. This guy is actually scoring here. This is tremendous. The confidence in him, he's having fun, he's smiling, but mostly she's smiling. This is not a woman who is shutting down some gross guy that she would never be with. These two probably hooked up after this game. Watch again. Nope, smiling. Okay, he made her laugh. Right, she's giggling. Now she's right here at this point. She is engaging with him, and she's engaging about the game. They're talking about the game. They're enjoying the game together. This is not, leave me alone, I'm trying to watch the game. This is a girl, he probably said something. He's probably a fan of the other team, and now they're jawing. But this is not a shutdown. Nope. Smile. Look, she laughs. She smiles. She is engaging him. There's no, he's like, all right, whatever, baby. Smiling. She's smiling. All right. I need to see more to be sure, but I am just pushing back on that being a failure for that guy. I think he did well. I think he rolled right through it. Nothing wrong there. All right. And finally, here's another thing I wanted to show you. This is, Baseball Johnny here. That's me. And I love my baseball. Can't get enough of my baseball. This happened last night in a game between your Washington, what are they, Nationals? Yeah. Johnny Baseball. I almost called them the Senators because that's how baseball I am. The Washington Nationals and Seattle. Here, we'll play this video for you. One of the things that bothers me most about baseball, and I'm very pleased with baseball. I'm very pleased with Major League Baseball at the moment. I'm very pleased with the commissioner's office and the changes that they've utilized. I love the pitch clock. I mean, we're talking about 2.5-hour games. You know how easy it is? I'm watching 2 games a day now. I'm watching my White Sox games and my Ranger games. Now, granted, I'm watching them on fast forward, which means I'm skipping through all the commercials and the, bullshit, timeouts and all that kind of, I'm skipping through. So it takes about 2 hours every night for me to get through 2 baseball games. I am loving the pitch clock. I'm loving all these innovations. The one thing that Major League Baseball needs to do is fire every home plate umpire. Every home plate umpire, not because they're terrible people, not because they're corrupt, whatever. It's just because they can't do the job as effectively as a robot umpire at home plate is. Calling balls and strikes is an incredibly difficult thing. I was an umpire for little league kids and all that kind of stuff when I was younger. It's hard. It's a lot of guesswork. I guessed on a lot of shit. That's shit I missed. Ball, it's what do you mean? That was a strike. Was it? I missed it. You could do that when you're doing little league games. But at the major league level, it's a little absurd when you've got guys who are pitchers making like tens of millions of dollars a year who are throwing, or in most cases that it really pisses you off, throwing unhittable balls that are being called as strikes. And here was just another example of this that happened last night. This is the game against the Washington Nationals and the Seattle Mariners. Check this out. This is just, and this isn't rare. This probably happened 5 times last night in games alone. This happens every single game. And it's really been made worse because of the innovation of the pitch box. The pitch box is something that is a graphic that is drawn on, to the scene. We're looking at it right here. I don't know. Can you see the pitch box? I'm not sharing it. Okay. The pitch box is designed to show you where the pitch ended up in relation to the pitch box, where it's supposed to be. So here, I'll show it to you. All right. Can we even see it? Yeah, the pitch box is hard to see right here. Okay, let's get rid of this. And the pitch box is not exact, but it gives you, it's supposed to give you an idea of whether or not the ball was a strike or a ball. So watch this. And this is how the reason that this one is going to, because this is how the game ended. The game ended this way last night. It was 8-4, but still, to end the game on this is some nonsense. There you go.
The 1-2. Strike 3 called. If you say so.
The home team announcer was even like, if you say so, okay, we'll take it. Look at that. Okay, do you see the graphic on the right of the screen? Do you see the box? Do you see where the ball is? The ball isn't even close to being a strike, yet it was called a strike, and the guy who threw it got the win, or whatever. Just the worst. Let's watch this one more time. Baseball Johnny was upset. I get upset every single day watching these games. These terrible calls. Robot umpire. A robot.
The 1-2. Strike 3 called. If you say so. And the Mariners win it.
All right. If you say so. All right. So baseball, big round of applause for a lot of the things you're doing that are making the games more enjoyable. And I'm not saying get rid of all of the umpires. I think there needs to be a human element in the judgment of plays in and plays out. I think that's important. However, I think that when you're calling balls and strikes, maybe there could still be a home plate umpire for, foul balls. Did he swing? Did he not swing? Whatever. That's fine. We don't even have to eliminate the position. They can keep their jobs. But balls and strikes must now be called by a computer. Balls and strikes must now be called by a robot. It's the only way to make sure it's accurate, because that is some bullshit. All right, that's going to do it for all the things that I have prepared on today's show. I hope you enjoyed our rundown of current events, hot topics, headlines, all that stuff. Let me quickly jump onto the trends and see if there's anything new that I can chop up here. Don't forget, if you're so inclined, tip the show. We appreciate that. You can go Cash App. You can go to Venmo, all of that kind of stuff. We do 5 shows, 5 days, Monday through Friday. Every day at noon, we bring you all the headlines, current events, hot topics, and all the stuff that people are talking about. We then come back at 9 o'clock and do a 3-man show. We call it the Radio Misfits at 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. That's myself, Pugs Moran, James Parker, and E the Artist. All right, let's see here. See, Theo Von is trending. Theo Von is trending because Roseanne Barr said something crazy, and people are like, yeah, we can't really, Roseanne Barr is untouchable. We can't get our pound of flesh from Roseanne Barr because she's sitting on a big pile of money. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck. She's Roseanne Barr. She's got FU money. That's why you do that, to get the FU money so you can say shit like what she said today. So the mob is going against Theo Von, because Theo Von, they can hurt. Theo doesn't have a big pile of money. Theo is still, advertisers, they can put pressure on him and all that kind of stuff. You can't touch Roseanne with that. So that's why Theo Von is trending. Ryan Seacrest is trending. Ryan Seacrest, he was rumored to be the guy that they wanted to take over the Wheel of Fortune. And he is. There you go. Big breaking news. Ryan Seacrest will succeed Pat Sajak as the next host of Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, figures. Ryan Seacrest, man, he just gets every job. There's that slot in Hollywood where, You're just like this vanilla, not offensive, not interesting, pleasant to look at, non-scary white man. And that's always been a position. And the people who have held that position in Hollywood have made lots of money. Before Ryan Seacrest, there was Carson Daly. Before Carson Daly, there was any number of people. You had Dick Clark. Of course, Dick Clark was that for a number of years in the 60s and 70s. Did everything. Anytime they needed like a non-offensive host that people would go, oh, he seems okay. Dick Clark got that gig. Then there were all kinds of like Gary, who was the guy? Gary Collins. Do you guys remember Gary Collins? Yeah. Gary Collins was everywhere. Here, I'll show you Gary Collins. Gary Collins was kind of a Ryan Seacrest of the 1970s. This dude. Hold on. They all have the same look. This guy. All right, here you go. Here was 1976's Ryan Seacrest. There you go. This is okay. Remember this guy? Remember Gary Collins? He used to host all the morning shows, and anytime you needed just again some completely forgettable, non-offensive white guy in a suit who the women would go, he's hot. You got Gary Collins. Oh, is that him now? He looks like a senator from Utah. Yeah, there's Gary Collins. Who else did we have? Rob Weller. You guys remember Rob Weller? Rob Weller was another one of these guys. Hold on, let's show you Rob Weller. Just a guy who got all of the Seacrest Carson Daly gigs back in the 70s and 80s. Rob Weller was more 80s. Although Gary Collins, didn't he host the home show? Where's Rob Weller? Show me Rob Weller from. Okay, here's Rob Weller. There you go. That guy. He did a lot of stuff. Entertainment Tonight and nonsense. All right, we don't need that. You know who else is kind of like that? How about Tom Bergeron, right? Tom Bergeron is kind of like an older man version of Ryan Seacrest. What does he do? And then there's here's Bergeron. This guy's the same thing. Bergeron's just a different, for a little bit older people. Ryan Seacrest's dad type stuff. Who was the guy? Jeff Probst. Remember Jeff Probst? He was the host of Survivor, and then he started doing all kinds of other side hustle gigs that were cutting into Ryan Seacrest action. Anyway, it's no big surprise that Ryan Seacrest is taking over for Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune. Why not? I mean, why do they have to do that? See, this is... If I'm running Wheel of Fortune, I'm like, why are we going to pay Ryan Seacrest whatever it costs to get Ryan Seacrest to host this stupid show that has a built-in audience of 85-year-olds who are going to watch until they die? It doesn't matter. You could pay James Parker $50,000 a year and he would go and he would host the Wheel of Fortune. You're paying Ryan Seacrest like $10 million because what? You think people are going to stop watching that show after Pat Sajak? You think Pat Sajak is the reason that every 90-year-old in America watches that show religiously? No, they watch that show religiously because it's comforting to them, because it's just the show. Now, whoever you bring in, you might bring in a James Parker, and then there'll be like public outcry because this is what happens. You replace nobody wants to replace a legend. You replace a legend, you get your career destroyed. You don't want to be the guy who replaces Pat Sajak. You want to be the guy who replaced the guy who replaced Pat Sajak, because the guy that replaces Pat Sajak is going to get everybody going, he sucks. Why can't Pat come back? He's not Pat. Does he think he's Pat? He's not Pat. He needs to be gone. They need to fire him. And then they do fire him because that's part of the plan. He's the sorbet. They fire him, and then they hire a new guy, and they bring him in, and everybody goes, well, at least he's not the awful man who wasn't Pat. And that guy succeeds. That's how they do it. So that's why they put David Lee Roth in after Howard Stern, because they knew it was going to be a train wreck. I remember at the time people going, well, they can't be this stupid. They must know that this isn't going to work. And I'm like, have you guys never heard about you never replace a legend? This is all they're doing. They're just having a talent or personality sorbet so that everybody can hate, because everybody's mad Howard's gone. So we're going to make everybody, all that anger that already exists, we're going to let them funnel it through this guy, David Lee Roth, and then we'll get rid of him and we'll bring in somebody new and, whatever. I don't know how that all worked out, but that's basically what they're not doing with Wheel of Fortune. And here's why. Yes, you can pay Ryan Seacrest a lot of money, and you're probably going to insure against the replacing of a legend thing, because Ryan Seacrest is in his own right a legend. So people will be like, oh, well, Pat was big, Ryan's big. So that's what they're paying for. That's why they didn't just get the guy for $100,000 a year and say, you're the new host, which would probably have been, I think, more financially beneficial, but that guy they know would have to be fired in 6 months, and then they'd have to hire another guy for $200,000, and then that guy would be fine. But at least they're not paying him like $10 million. How much is Ryan Seacrest? All right, here. Let's see what the New York Times says about this. Game show has demonstrated remarkable durability. Even though traditional television has declined in its wake. Yes. Wheel of Fortune is not declining the way other types of television is declining, because Wheel of Fortune is just for older people who will always watch it no matter what. It's not like, television only cares about people between the ages of like 18 and 54. And that's pretty much all they care about. They want people between 18 and 54 watching their TV shows. Why? Because people between 18 and 54 buy shit. And on the lower end of that, people between like, say, 18 and 30, they don't just buy shit, they buy stupid shit. And not only do they buy stupid shit, but they don't have brand loyalties yet. So that's why when, you're 21 years old, all the beer companies are appealing to you. Every beer advertisement seems like that seems like something a 21-year-old would be interested in. Why? Because they're trying to get you in their brand loyalty pocket. Wheel of Fortune doesn't have to worry about that. New TV shows do. New TV shows have to worry about how many 25-year-olds are going to be tuned into NBC at Tuesday at 8, right? That's new TV show. Wheel of Fortune got to worry about that. Wheel of Fortune needs to worry about old people dying. The worst thing that ever happened to the Wheel of Fortune was the pandemic, when all the nation's old people started dying. I'm sure they saw their ratings dip there. But luckily for Wheel of Fortune, we create new old people every day. So there's always going to be another. Now, at what point does the next generation of old people not watch Wheel of Fortune? Because right now they seem pretty safe. It's an old people show. Ryan Seacrest, the new host of Wheel of Fortune. Good for him. Oh, now we got Roseanne. We got Roseanne trending now. It was just Theo Von that they were going after, but they're going after Roseanne now too. Good. Jeffrey Epstein is trending. We talked about why that is. Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. I don't want to go into that. That seems like something I could rant on, but I should probably know more about it before I do rant on it. Yeah, that's it, guys. I think we're out of stuff to talk about today. I appreciate you being with us. We do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. Hot topics, headlines, current events, all the things that people are talking. Look at me, Mr. Popular. Come back and join us tonight, 9 o'clock, for the Radio Misfits show. I have got my poetry. By the way, last night on the Radio Misfits show, I promised you that I would ask a question that I posed here on this show. That question was, yesterday on this show, remember we talked about the study that came out and it wasn't a study, it was a list of suggestions by some British organization that steals taxpayers' dollars to, basically give guidelines on how to handle 10-year-olds who think they're animals. It's the furry debate. How do you handle my 10-year-old who believes they identify as a raccoon? That's what it was. So it was a list of things, and we talked about that, and I was like, this is stupid. You handle a 10-year-old who thinks they're a cat, you smack them upside the head and you say, snap out of it, you're being weird, okay? You're not a cat. What's wrong with you? Do you need to talk to somebody? You're a human being. Or, as I suggested, you lean in and you say, look, you little son of a bitch, you right now tell me that you know this is all a bit, and I will move forward with you in this bit. We can pretend you're a cat all you want, but you got to tell me right now that you honestly know that you are not a feline. You got to tell me that you know that you're a human. And if the kid goes, yeah, dude, it's a bit, then I'm like, all right, my kid's a player. Let's move forward. But if my kid really thinks he's a cat, That's a problem. That's a problem I don't want to deal with. It's a problem I'm not prepared to deal with. There is no book I can read. There is nothing. My kid thinks he's a cat, man. The fuck? Okay, so I came up with the question. Would you rather have your kid think they're a cat, or would you rather have your kid be the suspect when the neighbor's cat is killed? That's how I reworded it. Because it's like, I honestly don't want my kid to be the serial killer. But the question is, what people think of your kid. Would I be more comfortable with people in my neighborhood thinking that my kid was the weirdo who thought he was a cat? Or would I be more comfortable with people in the neighborhood going, the neighbor's cat got killed. I'd look at that kid over there. I'd be more comfortable with that. That's what I said. So that was the question that I posed yesterday to James Parker, who is the father of a son, and E, who is the father of a son. And everybody agreed. We'd rather have our son. We would rather have our son be the one in the neighborhood that people think is a suspect in the dead cat than be the kid in the neighborhood who thinks he's a cat. There you go. I don't really have a question for tonight's show. April, you would rather your kid have what seems to be a serious mental issue rather than just be the kid that they think? I'm not saying your kid is the one who killed the cat, but your kid's the kid in the neighborhood with the edge. Your kid's the kid in the neighborhood where the other people are like, you got to keep an eye on that kid. I would rather have my kid be that. I would rather have my kid be the kid that they think is, could do that, but didn't do it. I didn't say he did it. So you're making these leaps that means that they're going to be a serial killer. So the question isn't, do you want your 10-year-old kid to think they're a cat or grow up to be a serial killer? That's not the question. The question is, would you rather have your kid think they're a cat, or would you rather have your kid be the kid in the neighborhood who neighbors think is responsible for the death of the neighbor's cat? I don't know. It's very complicated. I disagree with you, April. How do you handle a kid that thinks they're a cat? Where do you even begin? And, cat, that's like the best case scenario. What if he thinks he's an armadillo? What if they think they're a dog or a raccoon? I don't know. Like cat, I always think of, because, they could do like the licking of the paws and all, that whole thing. Cat seems pretty docile. That's so weird. And they're doing it for attention. So that's what I mean. When like I gotta get my kid, I gotta get him in the face. I gotta grab him and I gotta say, you're doing this for attention, right? Like this is like, this is a look at me thing. Because if that's all it is, I can work with that. We can have fun with that. But please tell me you know that you are a human being and don't legitimately think you're a cat. That's a problem. And it's not just a problem because he's 10 years old and he thinks he's a cat. It's a problem because God knows what's going to be going on at 35. I'm now concerned about the mental stability of my child. 10-year-olds don't think they're cats. Most 10-year-olds know they're humans. April says, well, if he didn't do it, which is kill the neighbor's cat, which we're going with he didn't. He just seems like the kid with the edge. He's the kid they suspect. I don't want my kid to be killing cats. If April says, if my son didn't do it, but they are thinking that he did, then yes, I would rather him be the suspect. That's all it is. Just a suspect. Like nobody wants their kid to be the bad kid in the neighborhood, right? I guess that's it. That's the question. Would you rather your kid be the kid in the neighborhood that other parents think is the bad kid? Or would you rather have your kid be the kid in the neighborhood that parents think is the insane kid who believes he's a cat? I'd rather the bad kid. I'd rather have the bad kid. I can work with the bad kid. Can't work with the cat kid. All right. I'm going to close this shop down for the day. I love you all immensely. It's been a really, really difficult morning, but, I kind of pulled myself up. I feel like this show got me right with my head. So now I will sign off. I will walk out of this studio, and I will deal with the bullshit of the real world. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. Be well, be safe, be good to each other. Don't be an asshole. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending. All right, hold on. I can't help it. I'm involved in a conversation with April now. April says, but what if the insane kid is the one who thinks he's a cat. What if the insane kid is super helpful and mows lawns and shit? No, I don't care. No. Those honestly, at like 10, 11, 12 years old, those would be more indicators that he's an insane kid. Because at 12-year-old, if you're not a complete and total narcissist who's self-involved in their own goods, then you're probably nuts. So I'm still going with you. I'd rather have the bad kid in the neighborhood than the kid who thinks he's a cat.
Quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood.
Whoa. Hold on. Wait a second, guys. Hold on. What is this? Boom. What is this? April, in other news, I stocked up at Sacred Oils today. We'll report back tonight with a review. Oh my God. You're like the best. Thank you so much, April, for at least showing them that somebody, and there's, oh my God. Thank you so much. What did you get though? I got to know what you got. Did you get any of the deltas? Did you get any of the THCAs, the THCPs? What'd you get? You should have called me. We should have talked. Come on. We're DM friends. Oh my God. Should have told me what you wanted, and I'd have told you how to achieve it. But I'm sure you're going to have tincture. Yeah, I don't know tinctures. I couldn't help you. Look at that. There you go. Oh my God, you should have let me know. I don't know about tinctures, but yeah, let me know. Let me know. The vape pens are really good. The edibles are really good, except don't eat too many of the edibles. I ate the entire chocolate bar, and I was like bad high for like 24 hours. You know what I mean? Bad high. Like there's bad high where you just feel like you cold sweats and you're just like kind of jittery and, Anyway, thank you, April. I so appreciate you being willing to frequent our fine sponsor there at Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road in Farmers Branch. Say Pugs 20, get 20% off. Appreciate it.
I can smile a little.
So you did this. Oh, okay, I got you. All right, so okay, you're right. So this is the tincture, right? So this is the thing. This is the thing that I'm gonna take a little bit of this now. Now, this does not get you high or anything, but what this does is it's sort of like you just take it like that. Suck it out. Like I said, it's been a rough morning, so I'm gonna have a little bit of this. And this does not make you high. This does not make you high. This is just sort of like I use it in combination with some melatonin gummies at night for like a really deep, restful sleep. And I can tell you that there is a component to the deep, restful sleep that is achieved through the use of that tincture, because I used melatonin for months beforehand, and the sleep is noticeably different. It's more sound now. It is more, melatonin's great in general, but I also like this. I'm a big fan of this stuff. Also, and I don't know what this has to do with it or anything, but I used to have really bad like muscle sores. Like, see, I do this like a lot. I crack my knuckles all the time. And in the last couple of years, my hands have been a lot more, there's been a pain, crack your knuckles when you're older, your hands are gonna, and well, they were right. That pain has seriously decreased in the 3 months now that I've been using this. And that's one of the first things that I noticed, is that I don't know if this is helping me with my sleep. I mean, I think it is, because I've noticed a difference, a more sound sleep. But what I've really noticed with this CBD oil is that, seriously, I'm not going to say it was arthritis. I don't have arthritis, but there used to be a pain with my fingers and my joints. I don't have it anymore. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. But thank you, April. What a wonderful thing.
I always had to be on guard. understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.